What's up everyone and welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Welcome to some Forza Horizon 5, and in today's video I'm going to be featuring the Hot Wheels Bone Shaker as one of the best cars in Forza Horizon 5. Yes, this is actually one of the best cars in Forza Horizon 5 for a couple of different things. If I go and I check out some of the leaderboards, and I'll pretty much show you how unbelievably good this is. So it all depends on the type of track that it is, but there's a lot of different types of tracks that will end up featuring a bunch of different types of cars. The Bone Shaker, I don't know if you can bring it down into A class. Oh, you can. You can actually bring the Bone Shaker down into A class. I can't even go to like the top, man. It's so annoying, these leaderboards are so broken, full of cheaters and stuff like that. But there's the Bone Shaker in A class, being at the top of the leaderboards there. If I go into S1, and I try to do the same thing in S1, I think we might have a mix of a bunch of different types of cars. I don't know why I have the Agera that I've done that run with. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. The Mercedes CLK GTR is up there in S1 by the looks of things, and the Donkervoort as well. It's pretty interesting car to drive. I don't think you can bring it down into B class, but there's a bunch of different events that it can be good for. Even cross-country events, if you bring this thing on cross-country events. Let's try this one here. Again, I'm pretty sure A class is the class to be in this thing, and it absolutely does wonders. Like, it's just such a good car. However, I think the Mercedes X class as well is also one of them. But there's the Bone Shaker again, being top 1000 very, very easily. So, like I said, this is an unbelievably good car if you want to take it off-roading. Like, it just has such wide rear tires and it's got so much grip that it's unbelievably good for off-roading. Now this, I think, is the Bone Shaker that I think someone has sent to me, if I remember correctly. I ended up trying it on on the El Descenso, I guess is what it's called. The cross-country event. I should have actually shown you this as well, just because it's super interesting. And it is in S1. And I tried it. I'm pretty sure this is the car that I ended up using for it. Oh no, the couple Camaros there. But you can probably see, if I go to near me, Bone Shaker is just slightly ahead of me, like this guy. Again, like I said, Bone Shaker, off-road, super, super good car. Now, on-road, there's also, I think, a few tunes that people have made for this thing, where they took it out racing in online racing, right? And it actually ended up turning out to be really, really good. Now that we know it's really, really good off-road, let's try to see if I can build this thing for on-road racing. So, again, I've seen some people use this thing for on-road racing when it comes to basically building it for online racing. So, it's going to be interesting to try and see if I can build something like that for racing pretty much on the actual road itself. Okay, well, I've built it for A class. I made it all-wheel drive. I've made it all-wheel drive because I felt like it would have been a good idea. It doesn't actually change too much, but I made it all-wheel drive due to the fact that we can't actually upgrade the tires on it. As soon as I upgrade the tires, it'll immediately send it up into S1. So I think all-wheel drive would probably help this thing be in this class a little more, in A class. So we'll see how this works. I put the 9-speed in it. We don't actually need 9 gears, so I'm just gonna do that. We'll have 6 gears instead. But basically, this should help a little bit with our acceleration, because before it had terrible acceleration. We also don't need this thing to have like 300 miles an hour. I think 170 something. Was it? Can it go even faster? Slightly faster. Slightly faster. We don't need this thing, like I said, to have a stupid amount of speed. But yeah, everything's pretty much reset back to standard. So let me try to build this thing up for something again. Alright, so let's see what this thing is actually capable of in A class. Can I actually do anything? Oh, it has more grip. Brakes are a little bit worse because I don't have as good tires. It's kind of alright though. Very quick to change direction. It drags a little wide like this, as you can see. I need to make it pull in a little bit tighter with my tune. I think I can get it just to oversteer a little bit more. I don't need it to do anything, I just need to like, make it so it oversteers a little bit more. I think it'll help a little bit with taking corners. Like, slower corners, very good. Slightly higher speed corners, it feels like it wants to understeer, so I'm going to change my tune slightly. Okay, well, I'm done with the build on this thing. It should be interesting. I've changed a couple of things. It feels like, I'd even tried it with all-wheel drive, it feels like the front end is a little bit heavy with the front-wheel drive in place. So I ended up bringing it back to just rear-wheel drive. Plus, it doesn't really need it. I just thought it would need it because it doesn't... You can't change the tires, you know? So I was like, maybe I need all-wheel drive due to the fact that I don't have that much grip. But I ended up changing it back to rear-wheel drive. And we'll see what this thing is actually like now. A tiny bit of oversteer. Not too much, though. Yeah, this thing... completely standard, completely stock. Power and all that stuff. Not much has changed. I made it so it kind of oversteers a little bit, so I think I might have to change that back. But it feels like it still grips up pretty nicely. It's just a little bit underpowered, so... This is basically A-class racing, is what I'm doing right now. I don't know what car I'm driving against right now. It's like an MG or something. I think it's mine anyway. Well, no, I don't think. I know it's mine. That is the car that I drove. Because I selected myself as my ghost. Okay, I tried to short shift it to 5th. Maybe it'll help with my grip, but I don't think I need it to. See the understeer that's happening with this car? I don't know if I like it too much for racing like that. See, it just doesn't have the grip that the race car. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. Maybe I'm just terrible at tuning this thing specifically, but I don't know how I feel about this thing for racing. It's definitely not very OP. Look how wide it goes. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. It shouldn't do that. Power-wise, I'll have the speed. No problem. I wonder if this is used more like a power build than anything else. Like, instead of these smaller tracks. I wonder if people use these things for, like, really long tracks. Because I feel like you can squeeze out a lot of power and put it on the rear wheels of this thing and it should be fine. I don't know. You guys in the comments will definitely let me know. But for these, like, tighter tracks, absolutely pointless guy. Like, just doesn't do much. You can see even that time that I got with that car, which I'm like top 6,000 in the world or something like that. Nowhere near top 1,000. I'm absolutely smoking the bone shaker. But you can see how much more powerful I am than it. Look how I'm literally just running away from it. So I do wonder. I really do wonder if this is more of a power build type of vibe with this car than anything else. I'm kind of keeping up with it now, but I have to slow down so much earlier than the MG. I don't have the brakes that he does in that car, well, that I did in that car. And yeah, that understeer is insane. It just doesn't turn in. I'm like turning the front end in, tapping the brakes, doing what I have to do, and it just doesn't do it. So, I think maybe as a power build, this could probably work. If I make it really, really unstable, like the front end, and I make it so it pulls in really, really tight. The thing is though, at that point, it'll start overseeing a lot. So I need to change a lot of things if I make the car, if I build the car like that. Right, I changed it now. It's now got drag tires on it, and it's brought the class even lower so I can give this thing even more power. And I decided to bring it on a sprint event, just to see how capable this thing actually is. And actually, it's very interesting the way it drives now. Really, really interesting. But we'll have to see what it's like. We'll have to see what it's like. Like I said, I want to bring it on a sprint event, just because of the fact that, like I said, I changed this thing so it's a little different this time around to the way it was before. Brakes are still kind of non-existent, but the car itself just seems to want to keep accelerating. It's got more power. It's got about 500 and something horsepower now. It is slightly heavier. Immediately crashed. Immediately crashed. Yeah, I need to start slowing down way before. Like, the brakes of this thing just don't exist. They're awful. I give it wider wheels as well. It's just... Overall, it seems really interesting, but I don't think this is a very good car on road. Maybe I'm wrong, and I suck at building this thing, but... That's what I think. I think off-road, this thing absolutely dominates. It's just so good off-road. Cross-country events and dirt events, it's on a league of its own sometimes for some events. It's just really, really good. We're on the road, it just feels weird. I want to see what placement I get now with this. I've never done this event before. Ever. In Rivals, so I want to try to see what sort of placement I get. I can go even faster for some of these corners here. But I'm a bit scared with this thing because I need to like start braking so early into the corners. And then also accelerating out of corners just... it pushes the car wide a lot. At least now, with this setup, especially with the drag tires, it kind of slips a tiny bit. Not like understeer slip, but like the kind of oversteer slip, even the way I built it. It slips the tiniest bit. And then it just grips up again and goes, which is a good thing. Because before, when you saw me driving it, and I was on the standard tires, which are the sports tires. It's, it definitely wants to understeer a lot more back then. I don't know why. It's just the way it was built. You see now the way the front end just kind of darts in a little bit and then it goes into like oversteer position slightly. I made it do that with my suspension setup. And it seems to be working pretty well with this thing. I mean, for A-Class, like, how many cars can you build in A-Class that have this much grip and this much speed? I mean, it weighs 1 ton, man. It still weighs so little. 1 ton with about 500 horsepower. Like, it weighs... see the way I just did that, basically? Just kind of lift off oversteer it. Which is fine for it, because it just catches grip so quickly. Straight afterwards. So yeah, the drag tires are definitely the way to go for this car. Stock tires are no-go for me. Still an A-Class, 236. Let's have a look at where I am in the world. I'm gonna guess not very high. But we'll see. Let's just collect the reward and let's have a quick look. That was my very first time on that track, basically, trying this. And my very first time trying to drive this car specifically as well on that track. So, let's see where I am. I'm guessing it's gonna be kind of low. Maybe S1 is the goated way for this thing. For like power build type of vibes. Maybe, because you can engine swap this thing and you can make it even faster, but I was just trying to test it out here like this. So how much slower am I? About 5 seconds? Almost 5 seconds slower? I mean, I've definitely improved on my time. Forza, yeah, 4.9. Basically 5 seconds. Basically. Yeah, it's an interesting car. I don't think it's up there. I mean, you can easily get top 1% on pretty much every event, which is, I guess, something good with it. But I just don't think that it's OP or it's like very, very, like, there's other cars that you can pick instead, is what I'm trying to say. Right? It's not a terrible car. It's not a terrible build either, the one that I have on now, but it just, I feel like I can do so much better. Yeah. Okay. Let's try building for something else. We need to try drag racing, and we also need to try drifting as well. I feel like those two are very, very important. I think the off-road style, or whatever, the cross-country and the rally races and stuff like that, I've used this thing before in previous videos, and I think I've shown it off as well. So you should know how good this thing is for that. That's why I'm not using it for those events. But for maybe the ones that are less known, like the drag racing, the street racing, and obviously the regular racing, or drifting as well. Basically, need to try those. So let's try a bit of drifting. See if this is a decent drift car. Alright, well here's the setup that we have now for it. I think I need to see what it's like now, right, as all-wheel drive. Because if I try to slide this thing with rear-wheel drive, I'm kind of interested to see what if the tires, or if the front wheels at least can grip up and help me counter steer, basically, is what I'm trying to say. So we'll see what that's like. Jesus, this is pretty extreme, I'm not gonna lie. Jesus. Yo, wait, it actually started to... Wait a second, chat. Wait a second. Wait a second. We're gonna bring it up here. I'm gonna drive the entire thing. Just the parts where you get the points on it. Wait a second. Very interesting. I give it the snow tires as well. Damn, this thing picks up so much speed so quickly. Oh, a little bit of straightening up there. I need to try and fix that. I think my gear ratios are just a tad bit too long. Oh, it's good. Oh, the front end feels light. That's what I wanted to check out and test. Oh, that's nice. I feel like it just... my gear ratios are just all over the place, though. I'm running the standard 6-speed that you get in it. Once you engine swap. Or, sorry, drivetrain swap, not engine swap. Probably should have changed to something else, maybe like a 7-speed. It just feels a bit awkward, the transmission. The rest of the car feels amazing to drive. I'm a little bit interested now to see what this thing drives as. Let's see what it drives like a rear-wheel drive, because I can just change it. Wait, oops. There you go. Pretty much now a fully rear-wheel drive car. Lock the rear diff, the front wheels are pretty much independent. They can do whatever they want. And 100% of the torque going to the rear wheels. So let's try to see what that's like. I don't think it's 100% rear-wheel drive. I think most of the time when you build stuff like this, it'll say it's rear-wheel drive fully, but it's not really. But it's very close. I still feel like there's a bit of power going to the front wheels. My god, this is good. It genuinely is. It's really, really good to drive. So at least we know it's a really, really good drift car. Oh my god! Bro, you can throw it in sideways so well. And it just stays there. Damn. The points don't reflect it. I know for a fact the points don't reflect it. It's done so much better. Yeah, this thing is not rear-wheel drive, by the way. I can feel I can literally like see, and the controls that I'm doing on my controller right now, it just makes no sense for this thing to be a fully rear-wheel drive car. Because the way I'm accelerating and the front end just feels like it wants to also accelerate, or it feels like it is like putting down power. Oh, it's full-on reverse entry. Full-on reverse entry, but I lost it. So if I do this, watch. See the way, like, you still... Like, I'm trying to do a burnout and it just doesn't want to do it. I'm tempted to just fully change this thing. Let's do it. Let's change this thing fully to rear-wheel drive. And see what it's like. Because it actually is such a good car to drive like this. Alright, let's try it. See, now it's properly rear-wheel drive. I can actually do a burnout and everything in it. Quite a lot slower this time around. Yeah, there it is. That's the thing that I was hoping for it not to happen. But I guess with throttle control I can kind of feel it out. Which is technically what you should be doing. But it's, yeah. That's the thing that I was worried about. This just feels like there's so much car behind the engine. What's it like? So 51% of the weight going over the front wheels. It just doesn't feel like it. It feels like there's so much behind the actual wheels. Or sorry, behind the actual engine itself. That it just doesn't feel like it's 51%. The rear end just feels like it wants to overtake the front end so easily. This thing has no grip, by the way. These snow tires, rear-wheel drive, no grip. It's like I'm sliding around on ice. See, the front end still catches it in the end, but it just doesn't... It just doesn't do it quick enough. So that's why I wanted to start off with all-wheel drive, just to see what it's like. Yeah, like this, absolutely no grip. 1,000+ horsepower all going to the rear wheels. Again, you just have to be kind of careful with it, but I still don't think this is good as a rear-wheel drive drift car. The front end just goes a bit too quickly. Like, you lose control of it. It's just so easy to lose it. You push it just the tiniest bit too far wide and it's gone. The amount of power this thing has, though. Jesus Christ. And even with those wheels on the back. See how easy it is to like spin? But then it comes back and it catches itself. So the front end still has the grip. It's just the amount that you can push this wide, it kind of loses control. I don't know what. It's just such a weird feeling with this car, with the way it drives. Because you see me losing it, right? And it goes past its point where I can't save it anymore, just like that. But then it catches itself anyway, afterwards. So the way the grip works on this car is a little odd. It's just a little weird. The front end grip anyway. Yeah, it's a weird build like this. I think as an all-wheel drive drift car, super good. Unbelievably good car. Rear-wheel drive, a little questionable. Maybe if I had better tires. Honestly, maybe if I had better tires, it'd be better. See, watch this. I lost it, and then the front end catches it again. When I'm whipping over, I feel like you could do some crazy reverse entries with this car, though. At least. All right. Anyway, let's build it for drag racing and see what it's like there. I feel like for drag racing, it could be kind of good due to the fact that you can put so much power into this thing, and it's just crazy if you just give it if you just leave it as rear wheel drive, and get this thing to launch, it'll be just insane. So let's try and build it for drag racing for the final part of this video. Okay. Well, here it is, the build. S1 maxed out, best engine you could possibly get at this thing. This thing right now makes about 1,360 horsepower and it weighs a ton. It's the power to weight ratio is insane. Oh my god. Oh my god. Boys, that 959 that I have built for S1 is incredibly fast. Like, it's a really, really fast build. This is my first run with this car. With a basic setup on it. And it ate it. Oh my god, that's so quick. Right. Completely unexpected. The way this launches. That's insane. I blew the 959 out of the water so easily. I honestly was just astounded with the way this thing launched. It just took off. I need to change my gear ratios though. I don't need to have 6 gears. The only thing I did was I stretched my gears out and that was pretty much it. I need to go back and rebuild my gears again because I can get this thing to go even faster. That's mad. That is mad. I did not expect that. My 959 is pretty much dead. It's gone. What's it? Do I have anything in S2? What do I have in S2? The Diablo GTR, that's kind of obvious. But yeah, now in this. Oh my god. So I guess this is a really, really good drag car as well. I am down to try and beat my PB. I did not expect this thing to be like this. I seriously didn't. I don't remember this thing being a really good drag car. I've never, like, tried it before, but damn, it's fast. It's really, really good. Okay, I'm gonna adjust. I think the launch is perfect. I don't need to do anything about it. The first gear and the launch is perfect. I need to change the way my gears are after first gear. That's the thing I need to change. Wow, wow, wow. Wow. There you go. Bro. I didn't know that this guy was gonna be this fast. I'm now, I think, the fastest in my club. Jesus. Okay, it's a really, really good car. I don't know where I'm in the world with this, because there's gonna be a lot of cheated events, especially for the rival, for drag strip rival events. A lot of cheated scores, a ton of them. But yeah, the 959 got absolutely dominated. Like, look at these guys doing like 3 seconds, you know? Like, all of these are completely cheated scores. Where am I in the world? 1,400. Look at it, man. It's just a bone shaker everywhere. Yeah, I am the fastest in my club. By a little bit, not by much. Everybody's using manual, though. Weirdly enough. I feel like this thing changes very good with manual clutch. I don't know. There probably is other ways to get this thing to be even quicker. Maybe if I get this thing to launch a little better. Actually, I don't know, though. I feel like the launch is fine. The more I make it more rear-wheel drive, the better it goes. The better my 0 to 100 miles an hour goes. 0 to 60, I think, goes down, weirdly enough. Oh, I didn't beat him, did I? What is he doing this whole thing? I don't think I beat him. Well, I made it even faster than what it was before. The more I keep changing the tune and the more I mess with it, the faster I get this thing to drive. Oh, I did beat him. Oh my god, that time. Yeah, like I said, the more I play around with it, the faster I get this thing to drive. Okay, I'm gonna leave it alone now, because it's unreal. It's such a good car. Really, really good for drag racing. I don't know why I completely forgot about this thing for drag racing. Seriously forgot. Because I do remember when I was driving around my 959 and I was building that thing for drag racing. I remember this thing being one of my rivals. So, yeah. Okay. Drag racing with it is super, super good. Very, very good. Where am I now in the world? 1,451. I barely went up. Barely went up. I don't even know where. Yeah, like, it's just a sick car. It's very, very good. Try it out for yourselves. This is actually a car that I can consider being very, very close to being perfect. I think for road racing, you'll have to try find like a very spot-on tune for it. I think you need to find a really, really good tune for it to be able to do really well. But I still think that it's capable of doing some good stuff. I guess not jumps. Maybe jumps, not so much. It looks like it's flying backwards. Alright. Anyway, I'll leave it there. Thank you for watching, everybody, and hopefully you guys enjoyed the Bone Shaker. Try it out for yourselves, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye, everyone.